What is up, guys and gals, and welcome back to Splattertropolis. My name is Splattercat, the namesake of this village, because obviously I'm that kind of humble person. But welcome on back in, where we've got a lot of construction and things happening at the moment. We've got our first field over here, which is going to be done very, very soon. We've got a hunting cabin that's going to be completed pretty soon. Can I build a well anywhere? Because they're going to need a well next to this farm. So if we can build a well somewhere that's nearby and accessible to the farm, that would also be something that I think we're going to need over here. We'll put it slightly down. Is there a road right there? Is that what that is? Yeah, we got a road right there. So let's put it right along the side of the road. We'll have a well. They're going to need well water in order to make the crops work. The crops will grow, but they need to be watered, and then the people over here will till the soil as necessary in order to make that function in the way that it's supposed to, because it can get overwatered, it can be underwater. There's all kinds of like little internal systems in this game that are kind of interesting with the way that they function. I'd be curious to dig around in the code and kind of look and see how it all works, just because I find that kind of stuff to be interesting. But for right now, what is that? A coconut? What the hell is that thing? Like a breadfruit or something? Like, I don't even know what that is. It looks edible, though. It looks like the kind of thing that would be edible. We have nobody working here. I would suggest that we have 2 farmers. And if they can grow flax, I would prefer it. We don't really need food that badly. Our food situation is not dire. What is dire is our access to clothing, and so I would suggest that we do that. We've got warm clothing and we've got clothing. So we only got access to clothing for right now. But I'll try to get that banged out in this episode. What is that right there? Charcoal? Okay, so yeah, we'll finalize this. Be aware that you do need to finalize this. If you don't click OK, it won't happen. So you need to lock it in. This right here is the amount of labor that needs to go into the whole thing in order to get the flax growing and taken care of. Hopefully they will finish off the well before too long. We'll have a hunter up here, and that'll probably be our last citizen. He'll run around doing little hunts and things like that in order to make sure that we've got a couple of furs laying around, because at the moment we don't have a lot of fuzzy tapestries. Don't have those, so we gotta peel the skins off some shit. Got a lot of bears walking around inside of our city, though, which is a little horrifying. I don't know why we have such a weird infestation of bears, but they don't seem to be harmful or damaging, and they don't seem to be coming after me, so why worry about it, you know? Why be concerned? I'm sure it'll be okay. She's moving forward. She's planting all the little crops, which you will be able to see growing. And now you see those little flowers right there? That's right, our flaxseed is growing. They've all got their rice paddy hats on, I guess. Kind of a rice paddy hat. I guess it's got like a little dome on the top of it. It's not like perfectly conical, but it's a thematic hat for making things happen. Flax requires 0-degree temperatures to 27-degree temperatures. It's saying currently that it's in an unfavorable season, though, so it probably grows. My best guess is that it probably grows in the springtime, maybe spring and summer is when you grow flax. They may get the harvest done, they may not get the harvest done. I'm not going to stress about it too much. If not, we'll keep moving and life will be good. So this thing right here allows you to hire hunters to gather meat and skins and defend pastures and people from wild animals. Sure. Let's have one person become a hunter so that they can hang out with Maximus Decimus Aurelius or whatever his name was. They can be his backup man. That's actually one of my favorite scenes in Gladiator, where like the black dude and like the gladiator, they're both like in the ring, and like black dude's got like the sword, or no, he's got like the shield. That's what it was. He's holding the shield, but they're chained together, and so like what's his name has to be standing behind him with the sword so that when he parries, he like stabs back. That was legit. That was what was up, and then they like strangle the guy with the chain. That was legit, man. Gladiator was a dope movie when it came out. The hype was real when Gladiator came out. That was the movie right there. But it's like, oh shit, get him. Yeah, I don't think these are gonna grow. I'm thinking we may have issues over here. We may have issues. Yeah, it killed off the field. But you know what? For next year, it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of our farmers. And instead, we will turn them into hunters so that we can front load. Oh, we've got another civilian, too. That's good. So we can front load our stuff. In the meantime, we will have... How do we produce warm clothing? We need wool. So that's going to require a pasture, which we don't have access to. We don't have any flax, do we? So actually, there's no point assigning anybody to that right there. Instead, because it's winter, and we're going to be going through firewood pretty quickly, we'll assign the last person to firewood duty. Duty. Everything else looks solid. The barn is going to be full very, very shortly, mostly because we're stacking up vegetables to the ceiling right now. An insane amount of vegetables. It might be a reasonable idea Let me look around for a few more stones that would be suitable for gathering, because we're out of stone right now. We are going to need a quarry before too long. Yeah, you guys just kind of go out here and grab what you can grab, because we need stone. And then on this side, if there are any larger stones, I will take them. But yeah, a quarry is going to be something that we probably want to get on sooner rather than later. So by the end of next year, time travels quickly in this game. Time travels very, very quickly. So keep an eye on it, because you never know the way that it's going to pan out. I've noticed that if you keep things on times 10, they tend to happen pretty quickly. My hope is that we'll end up with a bunch more stones, so that in the meantime, I can make another barn right here. And so if we rotate this barn around, this will actually create storage for the flax. And hopefully for the furs, this will be the default location that they'll bring stuff to. So we'll drop that right there. A builder will get started on that. It looks like our roads get covered up in the winter, which is a little disappointing, because I was actually going to work on roads, since in winter we don't really have much else to work on. That gives me an extra civilian right there. I'd like to follow a hunter around and just kind of see what they're up to right now. So where are my hunters at on my list? Where are my guys throwing projectile sticks at people? Are you guys actually like accomplishing anything right now, or like how is that going? Like a spear, or like a bow, or what are you trying to accomplish? Trying to accomplish, that is. This guy looks like he's out on a hike right now. Anything? Looks like you got something. Oh yeah, they're bringing back meat. They're bringing back meat, and they're bringing back hides. Good. I'm actually really glad to see that. Everybody needs a steak every now and again, except for vegans, I guess. They don't need one. But I love a good steak. A little steak with some apple wood, a little bit of charcoal and apple wood, and you'd be good to go. I am one of those propane people. Like, I like propane. I can cook with it, but I prefer charcoal. You get a nice musky char on the meat. I like the little crispies that develop. You can't get those. You can't get those with propane. I like it when the meat has like those little black crispies along the edges where the fat starts to melt, and so you get kind of those little crunchies around the edges. Yeah, buddy, man, I'm salivating right now just thinking about it. My mouth all full of spit and shit. I'd be looking foolish. About to drool over myself like Winston. Winston is my dog, for people that don't know. I've been talking about it a little bit on the channel, but I got a dog this week. He's an old English bulldog, and so he's going to be kind of like a pit bull, basically. That's sort of what they look like. They're kind of like a pit bull, but more muscular. Like, they're on the upper spectrum of muscular. They're kind of yoked out looking dogs. And I was looking for a guard dog. I don't know. My neighbor's gotten broken into and stuff like that, and I've been a little paranoid about it lately. Seems like shit's been happening. The block's been a buzz, you feel? And so anyways, smell it in the air. I need something big in the house. It's going to be like, bow, bow. Just make it so ain't nobody going to mess around with him. He's a little-ass dog. He only weighs he's only 8 weeks old, and he already weighs 20 pounds. He's going to be big. I took him to the vet the other day so he could get his first vaccinations. And he likes new experiences. He's not a standoffish dog. I'll give you the truth. He likes new stuff. Like, he's courageous. He'll run up on new stuff. Like, he saw not a bulldozer, but he saw like construction equipment, and it was being used, you know what I mean? Like tractors and whatnot. And he was like, oh shit. He went over to investigate, and I was like, come here, man. You can't run up on tractors. You're going to get run over and squished. It's going to turn you into doggy paste. I don't think we need this many fishermen either. It looks like we are primarily subsisting on fish. A little bit of everything, honestly. Everybody's getting a pretty good diet right now. Hopefully they'll be a little happier. It looks like their happiness is suffering because their clothing's a little bit off. There ain't much I can do about that one. We'll put somebody back on the field once the temperature is back up. Once we start getting towards late winter, I'll start contemplating putting somebody in on that work. We don't have a lot of idle people around right now, in all fairness. I do have a bunch of random, like, stone gathering jobs out here. They should be able to go gather something as time goes along, but that time is not right now. They brought back about 30 of it, and I think the issue there is that they probably stocked, yes. They brought back like 70, and they stocked 40 of it into the barn. So it all went into the barn in order to give us a little bit more food storage space, which we're pretty topped out right now. We're pretty topped out. Our warehouse is actually looking a little bit depleted. It's looking like it needs to be replenished in some manner or another. So maybe I'll focus on that in the future. Could also use some more wood. I don't want to like stress out my workers though and have them doing more stuff than they can handle. I'll probably just turn that off and then turn foresting back on so that whoever's on forestry duty is just going to run around and do their thing as time goes along. The other issue I think we're running into is that, why are you chopping the little trees when there's big ones around, Forester? What are you doing right now, Reagan? You are not making bright decisions at the moment. You are making decisions that I would describe as being flickering at best. Gloomy decisions. Decisions that are made in the shade, if you feel me. I'm not trying to call you stupid or anything, but you're kind of stupid. Why are you chopping down the little trees? Why wouldn't you chop down the big ones? Like, doesn't that seem like a logical choice to you? Huh. Weirdness. Let's speed it up for a little bit. I don't think we're going to have any problems. I do like how the little chimneys have smoke coming out of them once it starts getting cold. Minus 10's pretty bad. Minus 10 is a situation. We don't get that here where I live. We don't get minus 10. We don't even have that. It gets down to freezing. It'll get down to 0 if it's like really, really cold out. It's a bad year, but normally it ends at like 4 or 5 Fahrenheit. I think the lowest I've seen is like minus 7 Fahrenheit, maybe minus 6. Although we get to the upper end of the spectrum for heat where I live, so it gets up to about 115, 120 where we live Fahrenheit. It's really, really warm. You kind of just hide in your house the entire summer. You don't go outside. It's a bad plan, because the second you go outside, you smell bacon. You're like, ugh, what's going on right now? Like, you just have persistent swamp ass from the month of, like, April forward. It's just, it never goes away. Your ass is just in a constant state of, like, 20% moisture. And then give or take, depending. Looks like hunters are doing a pretty good job. Hopefully they don't hunt everything out. But they're bringing back food and they're bringing back hides, so that's great. It looks like you only get 1 hide from each thing that you kill, so I'm a little bit concerned they're going to kill everything in the area. And we're not going to be able to get it all, but who knows. It's kind of a game of observation, too. Like, you kind of line up stuff to happen because you can't really move forward very quickly because you're subject to the growth rate of your citizens. You got to wait for them to get older and become available. And so we haven't had a lot of births either. That's the other part, is that our children are growing up and we are getting more citizens, but we just don't have a lot of people around to fill in that space. My suggestion would be maybe that we dig out another hill over here. Once we've got the road taken care of, that might work. I don't know. Do like the same thing that we did over here. Let me dig this out on this side just to make sure that it's flat. In fact, I might get that started right now. We got 3 people who are unassigned. So let's go ahead and put 2 of them on there. It's still an unfavorable season, but that doesn't mean they can't get started. So 0 to 27 is what they like. Because we're in spring, this should start to even out pretty quickly, in my opinion. We'll drop this down low right here. Oh, that's not going to work the way I wanted it to. Okay, so it goes from the inclined side. So the reason that worked is because we came from the inclined side over there. So instead, we may have to do on this side. Kind of just focus on that kind of shit right there. It's going to look jank, don't get me wrong. It's going to look really jank, but unfortunately, we need like equitable building space. So I can take that to like right there. That seems about right if I wanted to build on it. They'll go ahead and they'll clear out all the trees. We don't have a ton of workers right now to get this stuff done. It's just not an option. Luckily, Flack should be coming through pretty soon, which means I should be able to assign somebody to here. He'll make clothing. Just normal clothing for right now. We don't have any wool or anything like that. Actually, what I could do... That cancels resource gathering. Is there any way to cancel everything over here? Because I could make a pasture with sheep. And we could start that ancient Welsh tradition of raising sheep. I've heard that New Zealanders do it as well. Honestly, we don't really have sheep where I live. You got to get up to like Sonoma before you start seeing sheep farms. We have a lot of... Actually, we don't have a lot of ranches around here. Where I live, it's all orchards. That's the main industry, is strawberries and orchards. So we have peach orchards. We have... It's all peach, apple, apricot, and almond fields out here. And then if it's not one of those, it's strawberry or rice farming, actually. Weirdly enough, they have rice paddies out here that they flood using water from somewhere. God knows. It's probably inefficient, destroying the planet in some way. Yeah, rice farming and almond farming both seem pretty inefficient for where I live. I mean, honestly, it seems like you would have to get things pretty wet in order to do the orchard farming as well. I might suggest they bring the ambient light up a slight bit for nighttime. And I don't know if there's like a... Yeah, there's not like a brightness setting or anything like that in here. And so, I don't know. The game's got kind of like a contrast thing going. It might just be my monitor. It's possible. But at night, it becomes very, very difficult to see what's going on. And since they're still working and being around and about doing stuff, I don't know. I'd like to see it a little bit nicer. I'll probably put in some houses over here because we are about to be up at 14 people, which means I think we're about capped on our housing allotment. I'll improve this house just in case. That'll take us up to 16 as far as I know. Yeah, upgrade both of those, please. That's going to get rid of some of our stone supply, which raises another interesting question. We need a quarry. I'd like to think that at least a few of these people that we're going to be having grown, these 3 children, some of them will be quarry workers, I would hope. And so if we got a stone quarry, it looks like we could do one right here. It's going to take a lot of wood to get it done. But it looks like that would be a fairly fruitful quarry location. So I'm going to set it up right there. We don't have enough wood to get it done, but I think I can make that happen without too many problems. I should probably also assign somebody back to this, so let's take somebody off of... Hold on. We'll take somebody off of hunting. We'll put somebody on gathering. Yeah, that'll be good enough for right now. Got one extra person. I would say jump in on construction real fast. Make that happen, Captain, so that we got better storage space, because it looks like we're whittling through that pretty quickly. I would also take somebody off of wood chopping now that we're not in the cold season anymore. That'll give me an extra person to work with. As soon as he's done with construction, he'll run up there and get the quarry done, or she. Once the quarry's done, we'll assign people to it. These children should be grown up pretty soon. We got a lot of non-functioning people in our society right now, just kind of hanging out and carrying on. But as you can tell, this is a slower paced game than something like Banished, where you can just like click spam out a whole bunch of stuff. This is kind of a slow game where you got to watch stuff happen. The other problem we might run into is that I ordered terraforming over here while we didn't necessarily have a whole lot of people to terraform. She's going to chop firewood. You know, I think we're probably good on firewood for a year or so. So go ahead and take her off of it too, because we need all the workers that we can get. Has the flax harvest come through? Like, what are our chances of getting this done? It's late spring. It's fast growing right now, and it does look like they are getting progress done every single day. Yeah. If you're wondering what they're doing right now, they're aerating the soil. It explained it in the tutorial. Essentially, if they're going through and they're aerating the soil with a hoe, it means that the water is better circulated or something like that, and it makes the progress go up faster. That was their justification anyways. It took us the better part of a season to get that done. I don't see in what world 240 is half of 714, so I'm thinking that number might be off right there. I don't know. Either way, we'll get a flax harvest in, and that allows somebody to start crafting clothing, which will be pretty awesome. This is not that large of a terraforming project, so this should be finished off without too many hesitations. It's going to take a bit. Like any project like that's going to take some time, and it's just like, well, I guess you got to outlast it. We could dig a wall out right here to make the city a little larger. I'd want to make sure that we got it done sooner rather than later, and it was going to be a big one if we're going to get it finished off. I prefer to get it done like so. We've got one builder over there. Is the builder done with the barn? Builder's done with the barn, so this one should start filling up as well. Anybody that's over on this side should use this as their storage facility. I don't know where flax is going to go. Flax could potentially go just about anywhere, in all honesty. 2 of our people have grown up, so now we got 4 civilians laying around. Let's go ahead and get started. The flax harvest, has that come through yet? Got a little bit more time. Yeah, I think the number's not represented properly or something, or it jumps up at a certain point, or it slows down. Because at half it was at 250, and now it's at 600, even though it's wrong. I don't know. I don't know. That field is looking good, though. That is a nice looking field right there. I'll probably put in a pasture over on this side. So let's go ahead and find... We can make a coop. We can make a windmill. We can't make a pasture yet. That's a little disappointing. Can't make a pasture yet. So we have to research pasture, in case you were wondering. You get new buildings by researching. And to research... Oh my god, the healer shop is huge. I didn't expect that to be that large. That would be the pivotal moment for a Michael Scott right there, but Okay. You can also build a port, which appears to be quite large. You can make a port authority, I guess, which would be dumped like right here, I guess, in my opinion. However, that's going to take a massive amount of resources that we just simply do not have, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. Let's take somebody, we're going to assign them to clothiering. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes. I don't have any flax in stock, but we will have it very, very shortly. Should be able to get that flax pulled in by the end of the season. This over here, I guess I'll use it for some kind of resource harvesting. We might have room for clay around here somewhere. It looks like clay could potentially happen over there. There are some localities, but it looks like most of them are going to need to be flattened out. We might be able to do something over here as well. It's going to take them the better part of the day, though, to get to work, and so maybe we focus on roads for a little bit. So got a road running this way, I think. Maybe. Sure look like it. So if I got a road right there, they done worn that out all on their own. We'll take this road back to like there. And then we'll find somebody to cut this way towards this hut on that side so that we're set up there as well. We have 4 people who are doing just random labor, and so they're just doing anything that needs to be done around here. Clothier isn't really working. Farm will be done tomorrow. It's not even late summer yet, so that's really, really good. They'll bring in the flax. We'll start banging out some clothing, and then we'll start worrying about getting research done. It's looking good right there. Let's take a road from the spot over to there. Yeah, and if I missed a spot, go ahead and get that finished off. Looks like they got rid of the tree as well that was in the middle of the road. And we're slowly taming the wilderness. We are slowly taming the wilderness out here. We're out of time for the day. If you want to check this game out for yourself, it's called Life is Feudal Forest Village. I'll have a link for you down below. It'll more than likely be a Steam link. I will see you all in future episodes. I'm planning on playing this until we have all the building types and we've done all the research, and then at that point, I'll probably cut it off, but our population's gone from 6 up to 14, I think, or maybe 8 up to 14. I don't know. Pretty fun stuff. I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for stopping on in, everybody. I do.